There is an old hall in the north, bright with firelight and loud with laughter. Outside the hall, the world is black. The wind moves over the marsh. Frost gathers on the stones. Somewhere beyond the door, beyond the last ring of firelight, something listens. Inside, men tell stories. They remember victories. They pass cups from hand to hand. They belong to one another for a little while, which is one of the oldest forms of shelter human beings have ever known. Then the monster comes. He comes because the sound of joy offends him. That detail matters. Grendel does his worst work because Heorot has become too alive. He hears music, he hears fellowship. He hears a people gathered into order, song, kinship, and shared purpose. The sound reaches him like a splinter under the skin, so he tears open the door. Every age has its own Grendel. Ours has the online troll. He lives at the edge of the feast. He hears conversation and enters with bile. He sees a family sharing photographs and arrives with rot. He sees a young artist post his first work and crawls out of the comment marsh with a tiny pitchfork and the confidence of a man who has mistaken bitterness for insight. The troll is a small creature with a large appetite. He feeds on reaction. He grows in the heat of outrage. He studies weakness the way a wolf studies offense. The wolf, at least, has the decency to look handsome in moonlight. A troll often begins with a sentence, a sneer, a false accusation, a joke sharpened into a hook. It looks petty. It feels childish. Yet whole communities can decay through repeated little invasions. A house gets ruined first by a leak, then by mold, then by a family member saying, "I thought someone else fixed that." This is why Beowulf still matters. He enters a poisoned hall. He sees a people worn down by a creature that attacks the very conditions of fellowship. He answers with courage, discipline, and presence. He understands that some monsters seek debate, while others seek the ruin of the room. Beowulf teaches us that a community survives when someone protects the hall. That is our subject today, what Beowulf teaches us about online trolls. The tale begins with Heorot, the great mead hall of King Hrothgar. Heorot is more than a building. It is a public square with rafters. It is the place where a people becomes visible to itself. Men gather there after labor. The king gives gifts there. Songs preserve the past there. Young warriors learn what courage looks like by watching older men carry themselves with gravity after a cup too many, which is one of civilization's quieter miracles. Hrothgar builds Heorot as a sign of order. The hall tells the world that this people has roots. They can feast because they have defended the land. They can sing because they have inherited stories. They can laugh because a shield wall once held. Then Grendel hears the singing. He comes from the wastes. He is a creature of exile, descended from Cain in the old Christian reading of the poem. He stands outside the bonds of lawful affection. The hall gathers men into peace. Grendel comes from the place where peace has failed. Night after night he attacks. He enters while men sleep. He kills them. The hall that once held joy becomes a place of dread. Benches sit empty. Songs die in the throat. Hrothgar's warriors face something that breaks the pattern of ordinary courage. That is how trolling works. A comment section can still exist while becoming useless. A group chat can still ping while becoming poisonous. A forum can still draw traffic while every decent person begins to speak less. The hall remains, but people lower their voices. They post less. They share less. They retreat from sincerity because sincerity attracts claws. Grendel does his worst work after the killing. He teaches the survivors to expect humiliation. He makes joy seem unsafe. He trains decent men to become quiet men. Then Beowulf arrives. He comes from Geatland across the sea. He hears of Hrothgar's trouble and sails to help. His arrival has the clean force of old heroic poetry. A ship cuts through grey water. Men in armor come ashore. Their helmets flash. Their purpose is plain. Beowulf carries fame, strength, and a strange calm. He speaks with confidence because he knows what he has done. He has fought sea monsters. He has tested himself against danger. His courage has the texture of earned authority. He comes into Heorot as a man who knows that a hall can be saved. Before the fight, Beowulf meets Unferth, a man who needles him with old gossip and half-truth. Beowulf answers him, yet he keeps his mind on Grendel. Every comment section has an Unferth. He comes with a goblet in one hand and a correction in the other, and somehow both are empty. That moment gives us the first lesson. Answer the challenge that matters. Unferth provokes him. Grendel threatens the hall. Beowulf knows the difference. A lesser man would spend the night arguing with the heckler while the monster sharpened his teeth outside. Then night comes. The men lie down in the hall. They know Grendel will come. Beowulf has made a strange choice. He will fight the monster without a sword. Grendel uses claw and hand, so Beowulf meets him with hand and grip. When Grendel enters, Beowulf does something simple. He holds on. The monster reaches for him, expecting another helpless victim. This time the victim grips back. Grendel has never felt a hand like this. He came for easy prey and found a man awake. The fight shakes the hall, benches crack, the walls strain. Beowulf keeps his grip. At last, he tears off Grendel's arm. The monster flees to the marshes, mortally wounded. His severed arm hangs in Heorot as proof. The hall wakes into amazement. The song returns. That image contains the heart of the matter. The hero does more than win a fight. He restores the conditions under which ordinary people can gather. A troll wants the opposite. He wants the room to revolve around him. He wants every conversation to become a trial about his grievance, his insult, his clever little knife. He turns fellowship into surveillance. He trains people to preempt the next attack. The troll's victory is attention arranged around decay. Beowulf's victory is attention returned to the feast. Grendel has a mother, and she comes for revenge. She attacks Heorot after the first victory. She carries away one of Hrothgar's beloved men. Beowulf follows her to the mere, the dark water where the monsters dwell. He descends beneath the surface and fights her in the hidden depth. That second fight matters because online hostility has layers. A troll on the surface may be one miserable person with a bad temper. Beneath him can sit a deeper pattern, a culture of mockery, a platform that rewards outrage, a friend group that feeds on cruelty, or a hidden wound that turns into public venom. The first attack happens in the open. The root lies underwater. Beowulf goes down into the mere. In modern life, this can mean changing the rules, ending access, moderating the room, refusing bad incentives, or leaving a platform that profits from making people worse. The heroic act can look very quiet. Sometimes courage wears the thrilling armor of account settings. It lacks the grandeur of a giant sword, but the password reset has saved more halls than most bards admit. The old story later gives us the dragon. Beowulf has become king. He is old. A thief steals from a treasure mound, and the dragon wakes in wrath. It burns the land. Beowulf goes to fight it. This is a different monster. Grendel hates the hall. The dragon guards gold. Grendel is envy outside the feast. The dragon is rage curled around possession. Beowulf faces the dragon with his men, yet most flee. One young warrior, Wiglaf, stays. Together they kill the dragon, though Beowulf is mortally wounded. The ending carries sorrow without despair. Beowulf's life shows courage across 3 stages. He saves a hall as a young man. He confronts hidden corruption in the deep. He faces destructive fire as an old king. In each moment, the task changes, while the virtue remains. That virtue is protective courage. Online life needs that virtue more than people admit. The internet pretends to be weightless. Words appear, vanish, scroll away, and return as screenshots at the worst possible moment, like goblins with office jobs. Because the medium feels light, people treat cruelty as small. A cruel reply becomes engagement. A campaign of harassment becomes drama. A lie becomes content. A mob becomes discourse, which is a very educated way to say the villagers found torches on sale. Yet human beings remain embodied souls. A person reads the insult in a bedroom at midnight. A teenager sees the pile-on during lunch. A creator watches strangers mock the thing he made with genuine effort. The screen changes the delivery. The wound remains human. The troll is a Grendel figure because he resents the hall. He attacks shared joy. He hates earned confidence. He mocks innocence because innocence reveals his own collapse. He breaks conversation because real conversation demands reciprocity, and the troll prefers a stage where he can throw bones from the dark. He wants to make decent people feel foolish for being decent. A healthy community can survive disagreement. It can survive correction. It can survive sharp humor. A hall with no rough speech becomes brittle. Men who gather in public life need sturdy hides and clean ears. The troll reveals himself through appetite. He seeks reaction over truth. He returns to pain because pain feeds him. He shifts claims when answered. He insults the person when the point fails. He treats sincerity as raw meat. Beowulf does not reform Grendel through dialogue. He grips him. In online life, gripping the troll means denying him the conditions he needs. It means naming the behavior once, setting the boundary, and protecting the room. It means refusing the endless duel in which the troll wins by keeping you there. A troll says something vile. The old temptation is to prove your worth, paragraph after paragraph, while he learns which buttons glow when pressed. Soon the original subject has vanished. The hall becomes a pit. Everyone watches the fight. The troll feeds on the spectacle. Beowulf offers a better pattern. He stays awake. He identifies the monster. He meets the attack directly. He ends the performance. The goal is restoration of the hall. That principle changes everything. When someone trolls your post, your task is rarely to win over the troll. The greater task is to protect the people watching. A calm reply can show the room that order still holds. A mute can keep the feast going. A block can close the door. A public correction can stop a lie from spreading. Each case asks for judgment, because courage without judgment becomes a man wrestling fog while the benches burn. Sometimes the room needs direct speech. Sometimes the room needs silence. Sometimes the room needs a locked door. Boundaries are the architecture of peace. Every hall has a door. Every home has a threshold. Hospitality depends on exclusion. A feast that welcomes the wolf becomes a menu. Beowulf also teaches the importance of presence. He arrives in person. He crosses water. He stands before Hrothgar. He sleeps in the threatened hall. His courage has weight. Modern online life strips away that weight. A troll can speak from nowhere, under a false name with no face and no cost. That disembodiment breeds spiritual ugliness. The answer begins by remembering the table. Before replying, picture the room. Picture the person. Picture the silent bystander who may be younger, more fragile, or less practiced in public conflict. That mental act restores human scale. It turns digital smoke back into a hall with beams overhead and people inside. A community also needs shared standards before the attack begins. Hrothgar's hall had customs. People knew what it meant to feast, boast, serve, give, and receive honor. That order made Grendel visible as an invader. A community with no standards struggles to identify its own monsters. The troll thrives where the rules are vague enough to exploit. For a family group chat, the standard may be simple courtesy. For a creator's audience, it may be serious disagreement without personal abuse. For a church forum, it may be speech that preserves charity while telling the truth. The specific rule matters less than the shared expectation. A hall can defend itself when its people know what the hall is for. A hall with purpose can recognize invasion. The story of Beowulf also warns us against cowardly spectatorship. When the dragon comes, most of Beowulf's men flee. Wiglaf stays. His loyalty makes him one of the moral centers of the poem. He acts while others calculate. He honors the bond when fear offers excuses. Online trolls often succeed because decent people watch quietly. They dislike the cruelty, they see the lie, they understand who is being targeted. Then they scroll. A single calm witness can change the moral weather. Someone says, "That claim is false." Someone says, "He answered that already." Someone says, "This is personal abuse and it ends here." The words need little ornament. A clean sentence can do the work of a spear when spoken at the right time. Wiglaf's virtue is presence. He stays. That is deeply unfashionable. Our age offers exit at every discomfort. Close the tab, leave the chat, change the subject. Protect your peace. Those can be wise choices. Yet a life composed entirely of exits becomes thin. Some rooms deserve defense because people you love are inside them. The question becomes, which halls are yours? Your family is a hall. Your church is a hall. Your creative circle is a hall. Your classroom can be a hall. Your online audience, if you have one, can become a hall. A man grows up when he learns which halls he will defend. This defense begins before conflict. Cultivate fellowship. Praise good work. Answer sincere beginners. Make your space warmer than the troll can stand. Joy itself becomes a wall. Grendel hated the singing because singing proved that the hall had life. A community with real affection is harder to ruin. People who know one another can interpret one another charitably. They can tell the difference between a clumsy sentence and a hostile act. So keep singing. That may sound sentimental. It is strategy wearing a cloak. Make the room worth protecting. That is the part many people skip. They want moderation without culture. They want safety without loyalty. They want discourse without friendship. A hall defended only by rules becomes a courtroom with snacks. A hall defended by affection becomes a home. Beowulf also teaches scale. Grendel deserves the hero's grip. Unferth deserves an answer. A random drunk might deserve sleep and water. Wisdom sorts them. Online life flattens scale until every irritation feels apocalyptic. Many domestic tragedies begin with a man saying, "I need 5 minutes to respond to this idiot." The 5 minutes become 40. The idiot becomes central. The evening dies. Somewhere Grendel smiles with all 12 of his dental problems. Scale saves sanity. Ask what kind of creature stands before you. A critic may sharpen you. A confused person may need patience. A troll needs limits. A predator needs removal. The hall comes first. For parents, this lesson has immediate use. Children grow up in digital halls before they know how doors work. A parent can use Beowulf as a teaching image. The question is simple. Does this person help the hall or damage it? For creators, the lesson is equally direct. A creator's comment section becomes part of the work. It shapes the kind of people who return. Let trolls rule the room and serious people leave first. Protect the comment section early. A small fire is easier to stamp out before it becomes a dragon with branding advice. For ordinary users, the lesson is personal. Your attention is a cup passed around the hall. Give it with care. The troll wants that cup. He wants your evening, your pulse, your imagination, and your sleep. Refuse the seating arrangement. There is mercy in this, though it may sound severe. A troll is often a miserable creature. Grendel stands outside human warmth. He hears joy as torment. Many online trolls act from loneliness, envy, humiliation, boredom, or spiritual hunger. Their cruelty grows from a wound. Yet a wound gives no man title to wound others. Mercy can pray for the creature outside the hall. Mercy can refuse to feed him bodies. Beowulf loves the hall enough to fight. That distinction matters. The best response to trolls comes from care for what is good rather than addiction to combat. Some men need enemies to know who they are. Beowulf knows who he is before Grendel enters. That is why he can wait in the dark. Waiting is part of courage. He lets the monster reveal himself. Then he acts. The act should be proportionate. One clear answer, one boundary, one removal, one refusal to continue. That is often enough. Lengthy moral theatre can become another feast for the creature. The severed arm over the hall door is vivid, but the deeper victory is peace inside the hall afterward. A protected space should return to its purpose quickly. After a troll is handled, talk about the art again. Return to the lesson. Share the photograph. Continue the work. The best revenge against Grendel is renewed song. Heorot shines because it keeps becoming Heorot again. Our world needs such halls. The public square feels vast, yet much of it has become marshland with Wi-Fi. People wander through feeds that reward anger, mockery, suspicion, and vanity. Human beings were made for faces, voices, shared meals, shared burdens, and meaningful praise. A good hall can be small. It can be a dinner table where phones stay away. It can be a small group of artists who give honest feedback without cruelty. It can be a father teaching his son that strength protects the weak. It can be a corner of the internet where people still speak as though their grandmothers might read over their shoulder. That one rule alone would reduce half the internet to a stunned, pastoral silence. Beowulf's world is harsh. Men die, monsters come, kings age, dragons wake. The poem gives no childish promise that courage removes danger from life. It offers something better. Courage gives form to danger. It shows a man where to stand. For the modern person, the troll is a training ground in miniature. He teaches patience by tempting rashness. He teaches discernment by disguising malice as debate. He teaches self-command by offering the cheap thrill of public anger. He teaches stewardship by threatening the hall. The monster becomes useful when he reveals what we value. What is your Heorot? Once you can answer that, your digital life becomes simpler. You stop treating every insult as a summons. You stop giving strangers the authority to govern your mood. You stop mistaking reaction for courage. You begin building spaces with doors, customs, warmth, and song. You learn to answer Unferth without forgetting Grendel. You learn to grip the monster without becoming one. You learn to stay. Stay with the good. Stay with the people entrusted to you. Stay with the work that deserves protection. Stay long enough for the song to return. Beowulf dies at the end of his poem, yet his courage leaves a shape behind. Wiglaf sees it. The people remember it. The story carries it forward over centuries. Readers meet an old warrior by lamplight and feel their own spines straighten. That is the majesty of the tale. It takes a monster from the marsh and turns him into a mirror. It takes a hall under attack and turns it into a model of human community. It takes one man's grip in the dark and turns it into a lesson for every age that has ever watched ugliness claw at the door. The online troll is smaller than Grendel, but the pattern is ancient. He hates the song. He enters at night. He wants the hall to forget its purpose. So light the fire. Keep the door. Answer with courage. Return to the feast. In the dark forest of screens, envy, noise, and glowing little marshes, the old hero still walks beside us. He carries no phone, he checks no metrics. He has very poor personal branding, yet he knows the work. He protects the place where people gather. He teaches the strong to become guardians. He reminds the weary that peace deserves defenders. The hall can shine again. The song can rise again. The human voice, steady and warm above the winter wind, can amaze the darkness into retreat. A grand world awaits.